Alors, bonsoir tout le monde. Je ne pouvais pas venir faire ce live à 20 heures comme normal, comme d'habitude. Alors, je suis ici avec 1 heure d'avance. Et à la limite, cela a bien tombé parce que j'étais en train de lire des informations données par le ministre de l'Éducation, Ministre McHugh, et on va discuter un petit peu de ça ce soir. So, this evening, I'm an hour earlier than I normally would be, and I apologize for that, but it can't be helped this evening. But I want to speak to you about the announcement by the Minister McHugh this evening, and I want to drill down a little bit into what that means for junior cert students. Now, a lot of what I'm going to say is based basically on 2 documents that were on the Department of Education's website that I downloaded, I read through briefly and had a look at. So we're going to kind of look at this. I welcome comments or suggestions, whatever that you might have. You might be aware of a few more things that I'm not aware of, and together we could maybe tease this out, okay? So the first thing that struck me, okay, so this is what I downloaded from the Department of Education, right? And the other thing that I downloaded is like about 4 or 5 pages long. I'm not going to be going through every page, right? I'm just going to go through 2 or 3 main points, okay? So the first thing is, students now will be in junior cycle, do not have a junior cycle exam as such, right? So they will get a certificate from the State Examinations Commission, and it's called a Certificate of Completion. It's basically to say that they have completed 3 years of secondary education up to the junior cycle level, right? Why this is important that this is given is because there are some students, a small cohort of students, that go on and do a kind of alternative courses, or they go into apprenticeships that they can do, you know, once they've their junior cycle completed, okay? So it is an extremely valuable piece of paper for them, okay? For most of the other students, it's just kind of just another cert along the way that they'll just probably put into their folders or their portfolios, or mom will keep them or dad will keep them, and that's basically it, okay? However, and this is the however, okay? I then read further down and it said that they will also be given a school report, okay? Absolutely no problem with that. And the school report will be based on assessments done through the school, okay? So first and foremost, okay, you've got to understand that with the new system, and I'm sure those of you in 2nd year or 3rd year are well aware of this, okay? So the first thing is, you are given 2 classroom-based assessments, or CBAs, right? One is done in 2nd year and the other is done in 3rd year, right? Now, even though you have been, that you have done these, you've presented on something in 2nd year or 3rd year, whatever stuff has been taken from your portfolio, your teacher has gone off, they've had what we call a SLAR meeting, which basically involves teachers sitting around looking at your work and discussing it and discussing, well, what should you get as regards the features of quality and all the rest of it, and do you meet a certain standard, right? And that's all fine, that's all grand. However, the 10% is not based on that. It's an accumulation, but it's actually based on your TA, which is your task assessment. Now, the task assessments, as luck would have it, were to be into the department by the 23rd of March. Now, I know that a couple of teachers had them sent in, okay, but not all teachers had them sent in, right? And the task assessment is the 10%, if you like, okay? So that, we're all back to the drawing board again. And now what kind of the schools are being asked to do is they've been asked to provide a school-based assessment designed by the teacher, corrected by the teacher, to give an overall view of the student and 3 years of work, okay? So where I found it a bit strange was, I found this a little bit strange. It said, schools are being given autonomy to decide whether to run school-based assessments and what form they may take. Now, if you read into it and drill into it, it basically means that, well, maybe some schools will decide to opt out, right? Now, when I read this, I was kind of going, well, that's not kind of as objective as the rest of it. And that might mean that some students won't be doing it and some students will and all the rest of it. But before you jump to conclusions, right, I have a feeling that I know why they put that in. And a very quick look at the numbers that have been affected by COVID-19 tells a very, very sad, tragic, but interesting story, right? So if you look at this, right, in Ireland, there have been almost 20,000 cases, positive cases, right? We're nearly at 1,200 deaths, right? So you drill down a little bit more, right? And I'm a teacher in Limerick, so I'm obviously going to look at Limerick. I live in Limerick, and we have 513 cases, right? So big population, 513. Okay, Cork is a little bit over 1,000. And then you look at Dublin, and Dublin has almost 10,000 positive cases of COVID-19. And then I kind of got to thinking, and I said, okay, even given the huge population of Dublin, that is a lot of families that are affected by this, which has to mean that there's a huge proportion of students affected. So, you know, there has to be students affected by COVID-19 all over the country. But I can see, for example, in some parts of the country, the east of the country, it just happens to be a lot more pronounced, okay, for the moment. And please God, we'll come to a stage where it'll be sorted, okay? So then I had to say, of course, you had to give the choice, because there may be some schools where students have been affected by, God help us, the death of a grandmother or a grandfather, or worse, maybe a younger, much younger person. I mean, not worse, I'm sorry, because all deaths are equally tragic, but you know what I mean. But somebody close to them, they could be living through a very, very difficult situation. So if you send out an email to those kids or those parents and say, oh, by the way, John is due in for, or not due in, but he's due to send, we're going to send him out his assessment, so make sure he does his best, and no books out, no blah, 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 and will you send it in to us when he's ready? There's a very good chance that the parents are like, just ignore that. I just can't deal with that at the moment, right? There's more serious, more pressing issues to be done. So I think it behoves the school to be extremely judicious in deciding what they're going to do with their particular cohort of students, okay? In my own case, I'm working in a DEIS school, a fantastic school, but a DEIS school, which has limited funds, okay? And whose students have limited access to laptops and all the rest of it, okay? In fact, they did a drive there to try and gather laptops for the students so that they could partake fully in the Zoom classes. So in fairness, the school, the CBS in Limerick where I'm working, they are going above and beyond the call of duty to try and accommodate and facilitate as many students as possible, right? But there are students, even if you ignore the technological issue, right? There are students who will be affected personally by this coronavirus, okay? So what they're saying is, they're saying to them, look, your teacher will have a very good idea of what you're like as a student, what you've been like for the last 3 years, and they will be able to judge you and mark you in accordance, right? Yeah, no problem doing that. I personally don't have a problem doing it. I have been teaching my boys for 3 years. I know them. I know their weak points. I know their very strong points. And yes, would I be able to do it? Yes, I would. However, there was one line that kind of said, oh, do you know what? What is this, right? They said, make sure that there's a whole school-based approach, right? So that we're all taking in the school-based approach. And it was something, now I can't find it exactly. I should have underlined it, because it did kind of catch me. You have to be cognizant of the disruptive nature and the disruptive learning. So they're saying that maybe if you are giving some kind of a test or something, make sure that whatever you're giving them, that you're going to weight the work that they did before the 12th of March heavier than after. What I would say to that is I would be looking at what they did up to the 12th of March, because it's just too unequal afterwards. Some of them had laptops that weren't working. They couldn't access information. So I think up to the 12th of March is possibly a cut-off point for work and what they were expected, because you know what? Everyone's world changed in the school setting on the 12th of March. Now, they did say, you know, we should have regard to the impact of the school on the students' ability to engage with further learning. Yes. And I think that's a really important point, because students have to be given, in my opinion, the full, not some, the full benefit of the doubt here. We have to say that each and every student would have pulled out all the stops to do well in their junior cert, okay? Now, we're not fools, right? We know some students, it doesn't matter. They wouldn't have lifted a pen for you, right? This happens in schools, right? All kids, doesn't matter what school, what milieu social you're from, nothing. It just, some students are more motivated naturally than others, okay? So some students would have done a huge amount of work, others don't. So I would push to say, can we just take into account the work they've done, completed up to the 12th of March, so they are all on a level playing pitch. That is what I personally would push for, because I don't think it's fair to either on the teacher or the student to kind of go, how can I grade a student when I don't know what their personal situation is like, right? As in, I know when they're in my class, I know when I see them 3 or 4 times a week for their French class, I know how they're engaging, or they're doing their homework, or they're doing this, or they're doing that. And it's generally, you know who's a worker and who's not a worker in your class. That's life, right? You know the guys or the girls that you have to kind of say, come on now, you need another push, you need to get this done. And there are other students where you know that you can say to them, open page 15, keep going along with that, and you can be quite happy knowing they'll do that. And another person, you nearly need to make sure that you can sit beside them to watch them do it and make sure they're doing it. That's life. That's what it's like for everyone, okay? But it is important. They did say something, and they said, bear in mind that you have to work on, it's something that you have to take into, oh yeah, differentiation. Now this is important. In any school, in any class setting, you will have students with special educational needs, right? And generally those students in the junior cycle and leaving cert, they have a scribe. They might have to record, they might have to, it just depends. They all have different needs, right? So if you have a student with special educational needs, you have got to be aware of how you can differentiate for that student, okay? So that's another thing that you need to do, because you know what? If you have a student with a particular need that has completely caved because of the lack of routine and all the rest of it, how do you then ask that student and expect that student to do an end of term written exam? I think you'd be better off as teachers, and I'm only speaking for myself, I can't speak for anyone else. I personally would prefer that I could judge my students on what they've done, their homework, their attendance, their general attitude to the subject. And I think that would be fair. Another thing they said was that there should be a collaborative approach, right? As in, we should all be doing them, and all assessments should be completed and marked before the 29th of May. So again, they're giving us, on the one hand, they're saying, look, you have a choice whether or not you'll do it, and then there's 3 pages of guidelines of exactly how they want it done. So I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, there. They want the report, this is it, the report should also provide an opportunity for schools to report on other aspects of achievement, including the wellbeing programme completed by students. The wellbeing programme completed by students. And to a point, I can see huge validity in wellbeing, right? Huge validity. But at the moment, how is this showing well-being? How is this showing that there is really we're really thinking about the well-being of the students. I think if it were a case that teachers could sit down and say, okay, we will look at this and grade, I don't even like the word grade. We will assess our students holistically on the way they acted in the 3 years of their schooling. And after that, just put a line under it. Okay, it's God help us. I hope this pandemic is gone in the next couple of months, right? It has been the singularly most devastating in a lot of like you could talk about World War II, dreadful, but in our memory, this will go down as the worst thing that ever happened. And we're worried. Well, I'm not. But people are worried about grading students. I'm not worried about grading students. I'm worried about making sure that my students will be okay, that their families will be okay, that they'll be able to come back to school in September, and that we'll all be able to look back in this time and see what values we've learned. And yeah, really do think that that's so, so important. So that is my penny's worth. And I don't, look, I'm putting it out there. And again, this is only my opinion. I'm not talking on behalf of anyone. And it's only what I feel. So yes, I do see validity in a lot of what the Department of Education, what they're trying to achieve. They're trying to be as objective as possible. I know there are parents out there that want to know academically how their students, their kids are doing and all the rest of it. And we're all interested in their academic, right? But Leaving Cert is where the academic is at. And if your child has come out of this healthy and happy, that's the only thing you need to worry about, in my opinion. Voilà, je vous laisse pour ce soir. Merci, thanks Rosaline. Merci beaucoup de votre gentillesse, de votre soutien. Et j'y serai encore demain soir. So tomorrow is, funnily enough, Junior Jeudi. I'll do something easy going. I'll do something light. It's just, again, so that you're getting a little bit of practice in. If you are happy with what we're doing, our Facebook Live, something, I'd love for you to leave a review on Facebook. That was really, I'd really appreciate that. And à demain soir, mais j'y serai à 20h demain soir. So I'll be back at 8 tomorrow evening. Bonsoir tout le monde et merci beaucoup.